had to wait a whole extra week to see the debut of FUT, but boy, oh boy, was that worth it. Fantastic start from them on Pearl. I'm your host, Yingster. I'm back here with Kukuka and Billy. Like I said, we had to wait, but Billy, they gave us a great reason. They looked so good.
Yeah, they really did. I mean, it was just incredible from them, and exactly the firepower that I kind of expected from FUT going into this one.
Yeah, you can definitely see why they decided to go for this pick. I think that they learned a little bit here and there, but also, as I was saying, what other regions were doing. And I was, happily surprised that they're not as scared of picking the Tejo. Last year, we saw them changing compositions all the time. I hope that this doesn't happen again.
I think it is going to happen again. But let's take a look at Zeus's performance, because before the match, we showed you the top 10 debuts from all Turkish players here in VCT EMEA in the partnership era. And of course, Loon has the #1 spot. So in order for Zeus to beat him, he had to get more than 2 Night 8 ACS, and we can reveal where Zeus actually fits in here on his opening map. Unfortunately, he didn't quite get 300, and he is 11th. He's 11th, but he does knock down Krax and Yutuje in doing so.
Yeah, but exactly, it was Krax and Jetuje who had a map today. I think that especially Jetuje, it was lovely to see him back on the screaming and just knowing that we're going to see the same performance on stage for him, but also within the server.
Yeah, give him time to warm up to the stage is what I say.
I
think he'll get there, I think maybe we're being a little bit too harsh on him, so give him some time to warm up, and I think we'll see some more stats up there.
Loon had 3 extra rounds over him as well, so I feel like we'll see what happens on the next map. But before we get there, I'm glad you mentioned the Tejo, because CNED was a very big fan of Mr. Farlin choosing this. Were you guys big fans in hindsight?
Yeah,
Billy?
Yeah, absolutely. I was a big fan. Like, the way in which he was using Tejo on the defense was really, really impressive to me. I don't know, I think we're going to pick up a couple of rounds here, but just the way in which that we're using utility to be able to take control of that A extremity, it was really, really impressive to me. You see him kind of offloading some utility from time to time, and then even being able to run towards B to be able to help. So yeah, I think it was really, really good. It was good reactions in the moment as well, as CNED had said in that interview. He was being able to use it very reactively and just being able to take so much map control.
This is great, because in maps and compositions where the post plant is so important, he was always staying on top of this, because the retakes from FUT on that first side were very, very meticulously planned. And another thing that I think was very important, and to me was the most important thing out of this map, is that defense had so little part of a default. Everything had a lot of micro stuff, a lot of small plays, and it is very difficult for teams, one, to study this if you're going up against FUT next, and also, and more importantly, to adapt within the game.
Yeah, speaking of adapting as well, Nat's full force in his IGL era, and he was yapping away in that map between every round, during agent select.
Just first of all, disrespect them as much as you can. That's the first thing. I want to see from every one of you, disrespect as much as you can. Second of all, direction. Remember what is direction. Not just how you throw ability, what you want to do with ability. Any step you do, say it to your teammate. Simplify the game for the teammate. Enjoy the game. Right now, it's just the time to show who we are. It's just the time to show what we actually practiced. We practiced everything. We're here to win, and just enjoy being here.
Is this the same Ayaz from Gambit? Because my goodness, he's changed so much, he's evolved, and he's really kind of really growing into this role we're seeing, right? But the question is, can he do this on Fracture? There's one thing to kind of rally your teammate being a positive force, but there's another thing to actually IGL them to a win.
Yeah, do you think it has more to do with the fact that he's IGL or with the fact that he's got married?
I think a bit of both, to be honest. Yeah, I think a bit of both, but I love seeing this side of him, Billy. Back in the days, we could barely get a word out of him, and now he's just out. Look at him, he's just yapping away.
I think it's good, though, because I think that what we've seen from Liquid so far is a lot of the individuals being able to perform, and perhaps we're missing a little bit of that synergy. So actually hearing it going on within the voice comms is actually kind of a good sign for us going into Fracture, yeah.
And also, thinking about Fracture, thinking about the map that they played last week against Koi, how he was performing. Again, just pushing with the operator is very difficult to go up against Nax in most of the circumstances, but when he's feeling the way that he was showing he's feeling today on the stage, having everything very, very planned, giving all the orders and just giving everybody guidance to stay on the same page, is definitely a good prospect. I wonder if they're going to keep playing with the Sage.
I'm a really big hater of that comp. I didn't like it.
What is it about it that you didn't like?
I feel like I would be a shorter list if I told you what about it I liked. I honestly think Jailing camo on that Gecko, I don't understand it. I really don't know why they would do that. Again, they have 3 people on this team that can play duelist, maybe 4 at a push as well. The Sage, I like Kamek on Sage, but I could take it or leave it really on this comp. And I'm not sure if this is the one, Billy, that could really break the meta or set a meta.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think from what we've seen against Koi, that Sage wall was actually a nuisance to his teammates more than it was to Koi. You've seen a couple of rounds where the own team was having to break through the Sage wall. So yeah, for me, I'm not 100% sold on the Sage pick. I think though, to your point of there's many of them that could play duelist and they're not running a duelist, the good thing is they're starting on the defense this time, whereas in that game against Koi, we've seen them start on the attack. So yeah, hopefully that plays out in their favor and they can actually be able to stack some rounds up on the board.
But also at the same time, here, you heard it from Paddy in the interview last week. It is not about the comp. He was really confident the comp would not have made a difference. It wasn't the comp's problem. Would you guys like to see them to just stick with it and give it another go then?
Yeah, I think so. I think that there's still things that could be done with the composition, and I think the most important thing about them is that they understand the other team's win condition and they go and attack it right from the root. So that is, you know the tools that you have and you know them very well. So the Sage could still be there, of course. And
it is
still
going to be there. On the other, Cracks is on the KO! Oh my god, I am so happy. If you just tune into this, you don't know who he is, best KO player in the league.
Yeah, and we were surprised in, for example, the map that we just saw on Pearl, maybe him, not on the KO. It was more than good enough on the Fade. We talked about it last year and how he was adapting, and Ada Captain is going to go back on the Astra. I still remember where he was still on and off with FUT, and we were so excited to see when he joined fully.
I think from my perspective, I'm really glad to see that Mr. Fallen has gone onto that breach and not picked back into that tail. You know, we've seen a couple of teams trying to experiment with the tail on Fracture, and to be honest, I've not really been sold by that either at the moment, so I think breach is a really strong pick here for Mr. Fallen.
I want to see Jet2J pick up the AWP. If it's not the AWP, the Outlaw, I think that he was built for it, made for it. I want to see also the disrespect coming in from the side of FUT.
Yeah, speaking of disrespect, Mitch and Tom, over to you.
Thank you, Yinsu. It's a little better than the toss earlier, I'll say that. Tom, time to dive into map number 2. I'll not finish it this time either. It's Fracture we're about to see. Now, we talked about this earlier on. Team Liquid, they've had some struggles here. Do you think after map 1, you're inspired that they'll be able to bounce back?
No,
that's not,
but we'll wait and
a good
see.
Pause.
Like the thing is, this comp isn't anywhere near as outlandish for FUT, but they do have a lot of comfort picks and a lot of opportunities to set up Zeus in the exact same way they did. Already though, it's defensive aggression that is the point of call, and they are trying to pinch them from both sides, and Kamek has done incredibly well. Getting himself a double, the timing was nigh on perfect from his side, and this leaves Ada Captain and Yedeje. Now I will say, if I wanted anybody in pistol clutches, these are the ones.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter what weapons your opponents have. I think Ada Captain might even have a better win rate if they had rifles. Nice shots from Yedeje. Both players now spotted, though, for Team Liquid. And with this north side push, they will group up those 3 players and just hold the spike with a death grip. Kiko, I think he did just about fly under the radar. There is a ping on the boxes, so they're somewhat suspicious. The peek out from Ada Captain.
Hello.
Perfect. And now down to a 2v3, a more bite-sized portion for this squad. And with these 2 players, ghosts in hand, looking for the swing, this firing squad is about to be put to the test. Camo, low already. And a star to start, close left corner, cleared out. Still a couple stars ready to play with. It looks like they'll be popped in for the concealment, the bit of smoke. Isolating some fights already. It's Kamek down, 1 low, and it's done. Just these 2 against 4. The firing squad was there. The spike was down. They had everything, even the info, Tom. But that still was not enough.
I will say, the one thing I'll give to Liquid is why on earth is Ada Captain running into that scenario with all 5 of his stars left? Like, that's such a weird thing to have. It's just like, oh, you thought I'd have no utility. Here's the suck, the stun, here's the smokes, the fake out, and you're just sat there. They had their nice little lineup. Like, they were like, right, you duck, I'll stand here, and then just all of this utility is being put. It's so weird.
Pistol round, man. What an absolute madman.
I honestly, I love Anna Captain, but I don't think the Liquid fans will right now, because that's got to be infuriating. That was a 2v4 when you had the spike, and you still managed to not even get a kill past that point. Aggressive again, consistently trying to push and press. They have a lot of utility to do that, and a lot of utility to delay. In this sort of round, though, not so much, although it is going fairly well.
Yeah, Nats, great position. Waiting, hearing those rotates from north side back to the spike. He heard one player straggling a little bit. Caught him off. And now, 1 versus 3. This is
But who is it, Mitch?
really falling apart quickly. The only downside for Team Liquid is, like you say, Tom, it's Yedajay they're up against. We're going to hear a loud scream from that stage. Either it's the 5 players who came in with pistols, or it's Yedajay on his own. Either way, cover your ears.
Part of me was hoping you'd say it's Brittany, but you know. Plenty of time to get into a post plant. Opposing team have all gathered up on B, yet to retrieve any weapons. Now, if they go back through, you can see the pings on the map. They could look to try and retrieve some, but they're not going that way. They want to take the fast route back into these positions. Now, Yedajay's hoping maybe to isolate a duel. That isn't going to be happening. Every member of Liquid moving in tandem, trying to take this one together, even faking things out with his own cage. He's baited them into isolated. Fighting this man will do it again! You can never doubt Yedajay in a clutch.
Against the numbers, 2 rounds in a row. At least last time he had a teammate, but picking up the pieces alone. 5-0 start from Yedajay. I suppose a bit of a trial by fire for Zeus. He's come in here to try put some numbers on the board, and his debut, he's being outshone.
He has a Rebel clutch, by the way. In case anybody couldn't tell. I love the cage. Like, it's such a small detail, but he kind of almost isolates it to try and sell the idea that maybe he's main or on the other side. The cage doesn't help in his current position, but that's the whole point, that it makes you look elsewhere. Still, the damage that's been done is ludicrous. Like, with what they had, like, that's the thing. If it's 1 player alive and you've killed 4, that's not bad when you only have pistols. When it's a 3v1, not so much. And it's going to leave them low for this round. That's a great start. Just a walk up from Zeus.
Kind of pick you need. He did well in the last one, just with a Marshall, but they didn't have shields. This time, that's a rifle down. Player like Kamek, the heal's gone. Sage Wall was already used north side and broken by Yedajay. So all that early information for Team Liquid fades away. And now they're playing blind into this. Smoke goes down, but Anna Captain's ahead of it. He's already walked out. Patatek spotted, crossing up towards the satellite, and I thought that was going to be Yedajay's kill. But Cracks, feeling brave. He went for it with the Sheriff, lands the kill, and a 4 versus 2. Well, you know what? FUT managed to win a round just like this in the pistol. This time the odds a little bit more stacked against them. Nice start from Kiko.
Again, it feels like the right people for the job, but the pop flash, Sublime, as mentioned on the desk, that you put Cracks on KO and you'd be a fool not to believe in it. Nat's going to try and take them all on, but they are all stacked up, ready and waiting.
Don't leave them hanging.
See, the thing is, the last 2 rounds, okay, the first one was a mess. The second one, you almost managed to basically make a mountain out of a molehill. You had nothing to play with and you were successful. This round was just messy. Like, you had 2 players that it seemed like completely lost track of parts of the map. One just walking out into the open on one side, and then one doing exactly the same thing on the other side. And especially when you have a low buy round, you kind of have to expect people to be a bit more cheeky. Like, okay, I'm going to try and push this angle when I shouldn't. I'm going to try and take this space. And even look at where the crossfire was. That player walks out into an angle that's not covered. Like, these are little mistakes, and I'm not surprised that immediately we're going to see a pause called by the coach, because you can't, if that happens any longer, you've already lost.
Well, I mean, the 3v1 against Yedajay moving back to the side, the spacing, he was able to isolate 1v1 duels. Sure, it was a good position by him, but again, you have to look at those situations and think, what could we do better? 4v2 in the pistol round, Kiko steps forward, isolates himself. Now it's a 2v3, much more winnable situation again. You just, and even in that 2v3, I can't remember which player it was, but someone swung out wide. Could have been Nats towards the spawn in the 2v3, in the pistol. So there's been 3 rounds so far, and in all 3, I bet, especially the first 2, Team Liquid probably feel like they had a chance that they let slip away. And with those little things, those little sloppy mistakes, in basically 3 for 3 your starting rounds. The timeout, although early, is definitely warranted. Now we should see Team Liquid back in a more refined way. The only problem is they haven't exactly got the credits to match FUT with a huge economic advantage. Now FUT could make this even worse with a 4-0 start.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. In all 3 rounds, at some point, they've been heavily favored. Last round, it was at the start of the round. The round before, it was a 3v1. The round before was a 4v2. Those are now errors. This is not like, okay, if you just lose those rounds, it's not that big a deal. Shit happens, but realistically, these have now been mistakes against world-class players and a world-class team. They're not going to give you the same back. You're going to have to take it from them. Now, a chance for a fight again.
Nice.
Panatek's done very well to get rid of Adacaptain. 1 layer of the lurk. But as we know, Yedishe is always that second layer.
Yeah, sometimes you'd say it at least divides their attention, but there is a trap there for them to play off. So FUT still know that their back is secure. Trap destroyed, confirms they're still coming. Patty ready with the stun, but the swing will be right into 2 rifles.
Okay.
That Panatek overpowers. Big play from him as the breach opens up this space. Sure, he goes down, but these pistols left in with a chance to fuse already underway. Big swing from Yedishe, catches Nats. They know that that spike is not being diffused. The res there for Kamek, but he is in fact going to use it. Going to try to use the numbers to their advantage, but it's not working out. Time ticking away slowly but surely, and it looks like it might just be gone. Yedishe counting in his head, using his camera, and finally putting this one to bed. Just about 4-0 start for FUT. Granted, they don't get to keep all their weapons. That's at least an upside.
Yeah, and well, we really are going to be giving our sponsors the greatest of call-outs. That was another Red Bull clutch coming out of Yedishe. Honestly, every time he's in a clutch, I am now going to say, who is it? Because it's just getting ridiculous. He is in those late rounds. I said it when Adacaptain went down. There's always a second layer to the lurk. He is so good in those late round scenarios, not even just off the aim. The aim is crispy. Everyone can see that. But it's how he uses his cam. It's how he uses the timing, the jiggle peaks, the isolation. He's still one of the youngest players in the league, by the way. He's the whole package. Oh, for Liquid again, it's a round where they do so much with so little. Kamek in a great position, but it does seem like maybe a bit of an obvious one? No, I guess not.
Yeah, I thought it was. Even with the stun going down, they were ready for it. Just a bit of miscommunication as Zeus and Mr. Fallen go down. Spike now in the open, ready to be retrieved, but no one there to do so. Adacaptain blows open a hole in this defense. That's 2. He's just walked into the site, open sesame, trying to get back into a safe corner is Kamek. He's found a spot, but the Rolling Thunder catches. Things going from bad to worse. As Camo's left alone, 1v3. To try to pick them all up. Spike's being retrieved. He goes back to the scene of the crime, but Adacaptain's waiting. 5-0 now. FUT leading by example. Team Liquid, we asked, would this be a recovery on the previous fracture? Would this be an evolved state? But so far, Tom, never mind a step backwards. We haven't seen them step off the starting block.
I'll be honest, for anybody maybe just joining us, this could be 5-0 to Team Liquid. They are currently challenging for the worst 5v4 conversion rate in the league because it's 0. Like, I don't think we've seen anything like this. Again, you see those 2 openers. The recovery on the other side of the map is, again, just isolated fights. Like, I feel bad for them at this stage because they should definitely have a round on the board. Yeah. And FUT have been taking casualties every single time. Pace change, wall used, it's going to waste the ult almost completely. Just gathering a little bit of extra space. And with Nat still on point, always feel like there's a chance.
Well, Team Liquid, something to prove. I think last round it was Panatek's Rolling Thunder that sold Kamek down the river. Left them within a disadvantage they never recovered from. Now, FUT have their own Rolling Thunder primed and ready, deployed as the drop came in, but the kills don't necessarily follow. Adacaptain, again, putting up numbers, but Cosmic Divide blocking them out. Team Liquid get up close. They'll have a flash to use. They'll have the info on the back of this ultimate from Cypher. Sidestep. Zeus doesn't quite make it out of the stun. Great utility from the side of Team Liquid, but they still need the kills that Camo's putting on the board. Adacaptain swinging in. Sees the defuse isn't underway just yet, but that wall robbing him of a chance to use the sound cues. Grafwell in play. There's the tap. There's the swing. Adacaptain needs them both, and he'll find them. Another Red Bull clutch for the side of FUT. No matter how close it comes, no matter how sure the round for Team Liquid, it keeps slipping through their grasp.
Get me a coach, Cam.
Oh, something's broken.
You've got to be having a breakdown at this point because the strategy, the setups, the retakes, everything has looked great, and then it comes down to saying, guys, there's only one player left alive. There's no way we can lose it from here, and then they have 6 times in a row. I have never, and I mean never, ever seen a game like this, and I am, from a FUT perspective, I wouldn't even say wonderful, because they're losing the early round every time. But from a Liquid perspective, it's a painful watch. It is. This is like Liquid fans have suffered for many years, and props to them for still sticking with the club because it doesn't seem like that pain is going anywhere.
Eamon's going to need a hug after this one. Oh, let's see. Maybe the second half could turn it around, but for that to happen, we need Team Liquid to put up some form of a foundation. Kiko was thinking about tucking in. What a play it could have been. Instead, he goes looking for them, and, well, he certainly finds a few. Nice shots. Team Liquid ahead by 1, still just with pistols, but FUT are on the back foot.
Maybe if we underhype it. There's absolutely no way that Liquid could ever win this round from an advantageous position. No, that doesn't work either. Already back into a 3 versus 3. Camo has been able to retrieve a weapon at least. Res also available for Kamix, so they can give themselves an advantage if they can get to the player, which is easier said than done. Both of them are in fairly open positions. Again, though, there's a chance.
Well, the odds not in Team Liquid's favor. Maybe that can be what changes the tide. Ada Captain's been caught inside the smoke. Yedege still alive, though, the king of the clutch so far, and he's delivering again, but Nets turns on a dime, lands the shot, and as the Battle of Ciphers is won at long last, Team Liquid fans see a round on the board. And I'll say this, Nats doesn't look worse for wear mentally. He's still smiling.
Hey, that's the thing. It's very easy in these sort of moments to get bogged down by the fact that, as I said, they could have literally been winning 6-0. But managing to get that one over the line, still believed in Yedege every moment that went on, but the shot at the end from Nats was wonderful. And hopefully that's the springboard for something. Because, as said, this scoreline, and I know that this is said quite often, this is incredibly misleading as to how the game has gone. It has been a close affair, a back and forth clutch rounds every single time. Liquid can feel hard done by the fact that it's currently 6-1 against them. But they need to forget about all that and get on with the game.
Yeah, it's the start of the movie. Happy Gilmore can get it to the green, just can't tap it in. A little bit more work. We could see Team Liquid put those rounds on the board consistently. And stop saying Red Bull clutch every time for the side of FUT. 6-1, Rifles and Res still there for Team Liquid. Orbital Strike on Kiko as well. And it's not like FUT have any of those safety nets to fall back on. This is clearly a round favoring the defense. With the rotations towards the B site, we're seeing Kiko online just in time. FUT running into a big stack. Let's see how they deal with this already. Kamix the first to draw blood, the first to fall on their side.
Around the cage is gonna go dancing, and the trades are there immediately from Kiko, finally getting himself onto the board, and he can look to put the pain onto FUT. Instead, though, he's gone down, and it's labor from Patatek. No trade, putting things back into a 2 versus 2. Zeus definitely worse for wear, though.
They were about to orbital strike.
30
Pause the
seconds
play
left.
so Patty could come in. That fight didn't work out, and now Patty's gone. It's only Camo to stand against the tide, and it rages on for FUT. 7-1 now, showing no sign of slowing down despite close rounds. They keep putting them up.
Yeah, I had a genuine question, because I feel like this is true, but I'm not certain.
Okay.
Have FUT had an opening kill in this game?
Say again, sorry, Tom?
Have FUT had an opening kill in this game? No. Because I can't think of one.
That's a fair point, yeah. No, nothing stands out in my mind. There could be one flying under the radar, but it feels like they are. I get your point, fighting from behind a lot.
Every time, yeah.
And yet making it work. I mean, we're seeing that in what? There's been 5 Red Bull clutches so far? 8 rounds?
To be fair, it wasn't one of them Nats, so, you know.
That's fair. I think it might be 6 Red Bull clutches if we include Nats' one. I was just talking about FUT.
I do feel like these, though, are the more difficult games for coaches, like for Lohan and Yaltsin. Like, this is a moment where you have to sort of go, okay, our strategy is not wrong. Like, our actual execution of the early rounds is not wrong. So the plan is clearly correct. It's just in the mid rounds, like, first you have some of the insane individual depth that's coming out from Captain and Yedajay. Like, these are two players that I think strike fear into the hearts of many with how they're able to do things in those late rounds. But also just some of the moments of not even strategy, just working off each other from Liquid goes a little bit wrong. I felt like in this round that wasn't even really the case. Like, you had the decent crossfires, you had Nats making a play, Kiko immediately trading off of it. It looked better, but it's still not enough. 7-1, FUT coming out on top of, well, the majority of those late rounds. And it's getting tougher and tougher now to say, okay, can Liquid turn this back later in the game? Because you're playing a composition that it doesn't sing for me on the attack.
Yeah, it is very much foundations built on sand. Just one wave from FUT could knock it over if we're not pushing far past this starting point for Team Liquid. Well, in my mind, Tom, this is the round they win. They've got pistols, weaknesses across the board.
I'll at least get the opener.
Yeah, indeed. Won't even be Nats, will it? Shot through the smoke from a classic. I'm expecting it. But for now,
right there.
A slow play from FUT. Not something we're used to seeing. They move towards the A site, waiting behind this wall, and it will be a nasty surprise if anyone from Team Liquid is still around when that breaks.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think Kamik's done well to create, like, slow points on the map that are just general irritations and almost further delay being put in on the ultimate. Maybe a little bit unexpected that would be committed in a round like this. Maybe hoping that they were all stuck in that slow and had nowhere to go, but
not a bad idea.
I think already slightly backing off where they were going to be, and now it becomes more and more difficult by the second as they slowly get picked apart. We may be about to finally see a clean round from FUT.
It is a question mark. I think probably the slow and the orbital strike, just a second in the difference of that hitting and landing. Huge damage, maybe even kills. And it coming in that little bit late when they've already turned tide, moved in the other direction, turned tail, I should say. Team Liquid now left in a precarious position. I mean, Nats has got his rifle. Economy's okay for the next. They can afford to throw it at this one. But for what gain? Economy on FUT is a little shaky. If they can drop some weapons, make the reinvestment happen, it would be great, but that's not looking very likely with a 9 HP classic. Despite low HP on a number of players, those credits that are sat right on the breadline now in a beautiful position
in-zone.
with an in-zone flawless.
Woo! They got their one. They got their one.
Sat there thinking, can we swap a Red Bull for a game? just theorize it.
Just this game. Just this game.
Just this
please.
one.
8-1. No, that was much cleaner from FUT. And I think they are starting to be aware that, okay, Kamik's playing around that wall. A lot of it they're using for information. Like, before he breaks it, they'll get close, look to play around it, and just delay as much as possible. So they just waited. They know that there's going to be someone around that angle not needing to fight through it and be as aggressive as they were. For now, though, res available. Ultimates a little bit further away, and Nats is about to get aggressive again. Once more, these early fights have gone fantastic. Some damage done on the other side, but... Who is it?
It's Brittany. Sorry. It is Yedajay again. And although Cracks falls, chances of this round falling into FUT's
Honestly,
hands.
use the res. I know it's silly, but use the res. Make it a 1v4. Okay. This is bold, because there could just be someone on the other side. There is someone on the other side.
The timing! Oh, it couldn't be better for Yedajay. Even if they go back to check it now, he'll be ready to fight. Emerging from the rope, 50 seconds on the clock. He's got timing. He's out so deep at the moment. Cam heard on the other side, a little bit of noise, and now he's been spotted and dealt with. Okay,
He's
well
mortal.
done, Kamek.
He's mortal.
Foiled the plot and put 2 on the round for Team Liquid. Another essential round. Everything from this point is just laying foundations for that second half. They're probably already going to need a pistol under their belt to have a chance. So it's good to see that little bit of fire. Because as well, Tom, they've been looking for this fight around main for quite a while. Pushing towards B main. It's been consistent, and there's never been anyone there.
But no, that's the thing. I do feel like there has been moments of successes with these aggressive plays, including there. It's just that they've then had some... There was a round where they got the 2 openers, and then they wrapped from behind them and got caught. And I think Liquid this time just managed to hold their ground and be prepared for people to come in from behind. So I think that they are slightly adapting some of their plays, and their setups have been fantastic. Again, Another opener under their belt. I think they're going to completely dominate those stats by the end of the game, unless, of course, this goes all the way back in the other direction. There is still the Rolling Thunder, but the ults are building up here for Liquid, as are the side of FUT, in towards this A site. It does make me a little bit nervous having two players at the back of the site, and immediately the Liquid players fall off that spot.
Yeah, I think realizing what they're up against, 2 rounds left to play with, big ults, like you said, Rolling Thunder likely when you're already down a man to be the way that you bridge that gap. Smokes up, Thunder in, but now out of Captain falls. You hope the flank finds something, but nothing. Immediate shutdown. Gecko even fires his in on Team Liquid, as they don't find anything on the back of it, but have numbers grouped up on the choke point. FUT walking straight out into it, and unless Mr. Fallen's got another crazy play,
He did get two.
cocked him ready to go. It is 8-3 locked in. Team Liquid, look, if they push up to 4, it wasn't looking likely, but if they make it there and find the pistol, hey, look, we can forget the difficulties that have been here, the struggles of half number 1.
There's still a moment or two where I do feel like there's gaps. Like Yedajay almost hits a timing that gets an opener, but I do think as well their late round crossfires are looking a lot better. Like there's somebody taking contact. I think supportive flashes from Camo have been a big part of the last couple of rounds where we've seen them get the contact they want, and he's immediately throwing the flash just to support his teammates. I think that's something that has been a little bit more missing in some of these late round scenarios. The problem though is that those ults weren't used at all. An immediate showstopper for space, but look at where they're playing. Completely offside. Again though, this man is just in nasty spots every single time, and he's going to escape with the advantage. They got a first kill.
Yeah, they did. Opening duel for the side of FUT. What does that mean? Team Liquid have to wonder. Perhaps the stats are topsy-turvy. This will be the round where they're favored. Operator in play for Nats. Rolling Thunder for Patatek, and it comes in just a little too late. Players already off site. Rolling Thunder to counter. Slows them completely. Puts a stop to the play. Mr. Fallen up close. Ready to take that fight. No utility to fight through on the other side. Robbing Patatek of that last flash. They may just pump the brakes and wait for it. Suppression just about to fade. Jump through from Camo. Gets the stun out of them as well, but time is ticking. With an op coming into this retake, that flash needs to be perfect. They need the picks on site. They need that space, and they'll find it. It's Camo for the double. A chance now for Liquid to put 4 on the board. Defuse already underway, but the grab well stops it. Spray through cage, good for 1, and looking for more is out of Captain as the clock finally runs out. 9 on the board for FUT. Perhaps it could be the halftime curse with a Red Bull clutch.
Another one.
Another one.
It was another Red Bull clutch, another insane performance from them in those late rounds. I think Anna Captain has been in God mode throughout this map.
He has indeed been on fire. So is Yedajay. Some sneaky positions, 14 and 7. Leaving this half, we'll find out how FUT fare in half number 2 after the break.
Where is everyone hiding? One enemy remaining.
Welcome back, folks. About to dive into half number 2 of map 2. And if we're going all the way to split, there's quite a comeback needed for Team Liquid, currently sitting 6 rounds behind their opponent, Tom. And like we discussed in that first half, the tragic part about this is how close they were. This could be a 6-6 scoreline with it being anyone's game. But instead, if this pistol goes to FUT, could be the beginning of the end for Liquid.
Yeah, I think especially you look back to maybe the first 6 rounds, they could have won all of them, which, I don't think they're going to feel great about that. It'll come the end of the match if they lose, but maybe it gives them the hope that it's not like they've been outclassed. The scoreline might suggest that they have, but it has been the heroics of Ana Captain and Yedege, particularly, that have caused them so much pain. Now they go onto that attack side. As I said, they don't have any sort of direct opener. You don't have that duelist. You don't have a person to play around, and I don't think we saw Camo really show that it can work out for him. That's a good start, though. Nats and Camo combining. The aggression of FUT has been completely denied. And while this A site, other than Mr. Farlin, is open for business, I think they've killed the clutches, though, Mitch. Sure, it's done. It's over.
Hey, listen, it was Yedege and Ada Captain in a 2v4. Now it's Cracks, Mr. Fallen, and Zeus. The other guys are saying, all right, we got the last pistol round for you. Now you guys pull your weight here. Show us what you can do. Well, I'll never doubt someone like Mr. Fallen, but the numbers certainly against them. Team Liquid need this pistol round. If it falls into FUT's hands, especially in a 3v5, after the half they've had. Luckily, we don't need to consider that possibility for all too long. Zeus left alone, and he'll be the only one to draw blood. It's 9-4. Team Liquid. If the comeback is beginning, this is certainly the start of it. Engines roaring.
Yeah, I think this is where things can work for them, is the patience. Just sort of holding and waiting for FUT to get aggressive, FUT to put the pressure on them instead. And then when they get into post plants, they have an abundance of utility to play with. They can put the wall in. I do feel like this is one of the maps where the wall is massively effective, just for causing problems, like getting back into the site, spending time breaking it, even then the slows of the Sage. I know there's going to be Sage haters out there that are just popping a vein in their head because I've just complimented the agent, but I do think that it causes issues. For now, already, the aggression has been spotted. Well, Ana Captain isn't the one to get the kill this time. Oh, I thought somehow he was going to dance his way out of that one. Isn't to be. I also think that was a team flash, right?
So, let's look past it. Better than the team Rolling Thunder from earlier on, at least. They're juggling the weapons away so they can concede the space without worrying about FUT retrieving some heavier weaponry. Here. The last thing you want in a round like this, free kill. It's on a platter for Nats. It's what he does best, shooting people in the back. That's what we know him for. B-site taken, plan secured. Yedege and Mr. Fallen.
He's trying to work out where the cam was. It's behind you.
Yeah, they still haven't figured it out.
There we go. He has now. He definitely has now. You'd think if you can fool Nats with a cam, you're doing something right.
Absolutely. Cozy on the rope. Trap is going to give away the game, and well, with just these pistols, you really don't expect a whole lot. Going down to the spike might be where we end up, but this is exactly what Team Liquid needed. The pistol under their belt, the follow-up being relatively clean, provided FUT don't end up dropping a couple more players. Any kill they get from this point is of great value and benefit to them. But it is unlikely. Team Liquid seeing a cage on the north side will exit south together. The pack preserves the weapons. They're just playing this one sensibly. No mistakes.
Right there. Go down to the spike. Make sure your opponents don't garner any extra orbs either, especially when you know the likes of Kiko, Panatek could be working towards some pretty high impact ults. Even the res to an extent could play a part in the round. But yeah, not much damage, just a singular kill, and then everything else ended up just being the cleanup. The distance now down to just 4 rounds. Winning this one, similarly to what FUT did in the last, could be a massive turning point. And especially when you already have Thrash available, you've got yourself also that Outlaw for Nats, which we've seen on attack sides especially be really prominent. There's definitely still opportunities here.
Oh yeah, it's not going to be a free round. That is a given. Zeus looking to seize the day, goes pushing towards north side. Now we saw early crunches from Team Liquid here, but never really the full commit to just one side of it. And with nobody pushing satellite, it is quickly given up. Zeus falls back, and FUT not going to be so proactive in the control that they're taking. It seems to be a matter of time, though, before that setup towards Arcade gets a real opportunity. The spike is on its way here, but so are 4 players from Team Liquid.
They use Thrash. I kind of want to see where. I feel like going towards tower is maybe not the greatest use of it. Zeus under serious pressure, and honestly, that was the SMG traded out. The problem, though, is that Mr. Fallen managed to find one at the same time. Now the team are going to go rotating back towards that A site. Currently, only defended by Ada Captain, but you have to bear in mind that the defensive side rotations on this map are incredibly quick.
B main player that was caught, everyone's now coming from Dish, but despite those quick rotations, the A site already well and truly taken. In goes Thrash, site cleared, it's all theirs, and they know it. Does he go into main to reclaim it? No, it's going to be given up. Oh, now out of the round, Kiko with a chance, and that's it. The herd thinned, damage done to Mr. Fallen and Yedije. It's doable still for Team Liquid, 9-5. They're going to make this comeback happen. They need success early days, and that's here and now. I might be up against the numbers, but the time is on their side, and it keeps on ticking. Still utility to play with, but they go out, diving for the fights. Patatek now all alone. Not quite. Oh yeah, indeed, gonna stop the defuse, but now they're pushed up close, looking for the duel, and that's not one that Cracks will let slip. Time still there for the side of FUT, and with 15 combined HP, they've still found the round. Close as it may be, the story of this game is that victory falls to FUT.
Yeah, there was like a millisecond timing there from Cracks just to find a gap within that aftershock that wasn't quite ready for on the other side from Patatek. A little bit more aggressive than he was expecting. Yeah, literally a split second less, and he probably goes down to that instead. But again, that has been the story of these games. Not too bad, though, for Liquid. And I do want to sort of set up how they're playing with this sort of almost passive attack side. They're waiting for the aggression. I really like the Outlaw in this scenario, because say they do go pushing down those B stairs, you have a very long-range angle where he is almost favored, especially 20 players with light shields, which 2 of the players are there. Same pinch as we saw before. Push towards that top side, but this just allows for a post plant, as that has gone wrong. That has gone pretty badly wrong. It's gonna have to break the wall.
That worked out at least in the end. The plant's still secured. Just a few seconds extra bought for FUT. See if that ends up playing a role. Ada Captain defending the spawn, steadfast in his defense of it. Gets a star down for his teammates, and he's ready to fight once more. He's the only player coming from this side, so there's no backup for him. Not the same for Kamek. He had Gecko there with the flash, and something primed and ready from Patatek. Still full belt of utility on that breach, ready to be fired out towards the site. Maybe not needed, as eventually he'll fall, and Kamek will be left alone. Res available, activated to get Kiko back on. Defuse, though, already up to halfway. A chance. Mr. Fallen shuts him down for the kill. Looks for more. He might just stick this close. Kiko needs to run, and he's not quick enough. The res was even used here. Huge commitment from the side of Team Liquid. And they get nothing for their trouble. That is a misplay. And one that may just see this game slip out of their hands a little bit sooner as a result of...
I'm curious if they actually wanted it planted directly in that corner to begin with, or if maybe the wingman was meant to be slightly over, just so it was not completely behind the box. It does beg a question. We'll have to ask them. That is infuriating. It means all of those post-plant positions really didn't have the same level of value, and the second the realization is there from Mr. Fallen, it seems like a done deal. Showstopper utilized, but already managed to fall off the back of it. They know exactly where Zeus is standing. He's not the only one. Supportive utility available from Mr. Fallen if he wants to buy time.
The showstopper could have been the fatality. Although with Patatek down, still a very valuable opening pick for Zeus. Ada Captain here to cover as they walk out into their waiting arms. Zeus the one to fall, but not without a trade. And the damage done is huge. Kiko's tagged, but Camo is barely holding on to life. A bullet in his direction is more than enough to take him down. And now Kiko faces 3 players. Yedije, Cracks, Mr. Fallen, and he won't even get the first on a sliver of HP. 11 health, in fact, 12 rounds for FUT. And an uphill battle doesn't quite come close to doing it justice. Team Liquid on their map pick. Nothing but perfection from this point forward.
Yeah, I think this is where you sort of witness how difficult it can be. Like, you have that extra belt of utility, but you don't have that distraction of like a dash or something to take the gaze away from your opponents. And wow, Captain actually only had a Spectre there. I feel like if he had anything else, it's probably a much cleaner looking double spray. 7 rounds in a row needed. There's definitely been, as I said, a lot of moments from Liquid that you feel like could have been turning points, but when FUT wins almost every single one of them, you have to give them the credit that they deserve. They've been excellent. Wow. An early aggressive take, already using that. No, maybe not using the Thrash. It's basically got no info, I don't think.
Cage triggered.
Bolt goes in, Rolling Thunder landing, but Krax gets the shots away first. 2 kills already, and Mr. Fallen quick on the trade, keeps numbers favored. The goal is 13 rounds. So far, Team Liquid have 12 in the series. FUT have been dominating, and it doesn't look to stop anytime soon with the ult used from Camo, finding nothing. FUT patient, waiting for this retake, waiting for the opportunity. Kiko not looking to give it away. The Gravwell takes him out of the fight though, isolated as Camo, and a 2K needed. Kiko might not be known. They assume he's in this corner, but still so much to clear. He'll catch the first, but this shot, it needs to be perfect. Blast back is there, but Kiko finds his footing for the Red Bull clutch. There's still life in Team Liquid's court.
We genuinely need a tally on the screen at this point. It has been so many clutches, and maybe a quieter performance from Kiko than what we saw versus Koi, but with rounds like that, high impact ones, it gives them at least a lifeline. Obviously still the finances are not really building for Liquid when they do win a round, but just clean with it when it comes to the Guardian. On the other side of things, FUT have finally had to take a little bit of a breather. They don't have the weaponry in this round. It's going to be Sheriffs, which, hey, in their hands can still be deadly. But expectations are that Liquid will at least get to 7.
I love the contrast of when Patatek Rolling Thundered his teammate got swung by 2 enemies and instantly died. And then when Mr. Fallen Rolling Thunders 2 of his teammates, they swing in and kill 2 people instantly.
You just gotta hit your shots.
It really is.
It is cosmetic, as
you know what?
Guys on Reddit
Krax
said.
has been hitting his shots this devastating. He is across the wire just in time, past the tripwire, and on the flank. Captain could clean up this round by himself. The Sheriffs have already done damage looking towards the site. And in fact, Nats has gone underneath. So Captain probably not going to catch him, but instead, he'll be walking into the waiting arms of Mr. Fallen. He's spotted, but not dropped just yet. The pistol not winning it out is now just down to a 1-man disadvantage. Utility could block out that defuse. They're going for it halfway, and they'll get it as well before going down. Trading numbers for time, and it might have worked out. Patatek in for the swing, and that shuts it. Captain puts him to bed, and with time on the clock, it's 13-6. 1 round better than they managed on their own map pick. FUT with an unbelievable display.
Pay save card thrifty!
They got 1!
They got 1 in right at the end. It may have also been a clutch, but we'll ignore that. It was a display from FUT when it comes to the late rounds of that map. I think if you just watch the first 30 seconds of every single round, you're probably thinking that Liquid did pretty well, but a 13-6 scoreline on their own map choice, there's definitely work to be done here for them.
They fought from behind in the majority of rounds, but a beautiful display indeed from FUT. You have to compliment them on not just that first map, but coming to their opponent's map where no doubt plenty of work was put in, and being able, I guess, to have players like Yedije clutching up certainly helps out. A well-rounded team performance as well. And we talked about Zeus down on that stage and how excited we were to see him come out of this. Not so much just excited for 1 man, but for this roster and what awaits them in the rest of this year. The debut, it looked pretty flawless.
Yeah, that's the thing. It was a solid performance from him. I think it didn't need to necessarily be that superstar performance because there is so much depth when it comes to this roster in general, but he at least seems to be just loving what's going on, having a great time down on the stage with the FUT fans. And honestly, I think he's going to quickly become a favorite as we see them go deeper into the tournament.
Well, there's a couple kinds of debuts. Sometimes you put up 298 ACS, players like Loon able to do that, but I think what's even better is when your team comes in and dominates like this, because now it's not about your future, it's about your team's future. And for Zeus, it's looking very bright over on FUT. The Turkish squad certainly starting this season with their best foot forward, and they're not a squad that we expect to cool down as time goes on by any means.
Yeah, for sure. And I think you look at the other side, there's still plenty of opportunities for Liquid to fight their way back through. It's a tough opponent to face, especially without data. Like if you're coming in up against a Mr. Fall and Teo on your first map versus FUT, against a new superstar, against Anna Captain and Yedege, seemingly in incredible form, it's going to be a difficult day at the office.
Well, a wonderful display from the side of FUT. Zeus in his debut and Yedege putting up numbers. Let's hear from both of those players down on the stage with Yinsu for the post-match interview.
I'm now joined by Yetege and Zeus on the side of FUT here. First of all, congratulations on your win.
Thank you.
That was your debut today, Zeus.
Yeah.
And also, Yetege, I feel like you might know how he might feel, because last year, right here, right now on the stage, we're talking about you know,
Yeah,
Yetege
true,
coming in
true.
from Tier 2. So have you been able to share some of that experience maybe with Zeus ahead of this debut today?
Konuş. Actually, I don't know, we're just better, like, anyway. He's better than me, he's better than everyone, so he's here, that's why.
Do you remember how you felt when you first came onto this stage compared to
Yeah,
now?
of course, it was so excited and I was so stressful, but thanks to my teammates, they are not here, but I just did it with them.
Do you feel the same, Zeus? Of course, this was your debut today. Were you also stressed?
Yeah, I'm feeling a little bit excited more than stressed. So playing here is very good, but it's cold. Right?
It's cold?
Yeah, very cold.
Okay, I'll see
I
what
was
I can
shaking
do.
in the match like this.
Maybe you should do what Krax does, because he kind of wears a hoodie.
Yeah.
You know? He knows about the meta. He knows about the meta. And speaking of the meta, we saw you pick up the sniper maybe like once or twice, the martial ones.
Yeah,
here and there.
2 times.
Yeah. Why do you not like the op? You know, most duelists, they want to buy the op. They want to make sure they're on the op. Why do you kind of choose not to?
Yeah, my Vandal is operator, just only one tapping everyone. It's enough.
The Vandal is enough. Do you feel like maybe the rest of your team, like you, for example, might have to pick up the op now? You know, his Vandal's already good enough, so someone else has to do it?
Yeah, I can fill it with anti-echo rounds with all class, and also maybe I can play operator if the game's stuck, but for now, his aim is just enough for us.
Is this the plan, you think, to kind of facilitate Zeus, and if whatever he can't do, you guys will just pick it up?
He can't do anything, so
Oh,
we don't think about that.
there's nothing you can't do.
Yeah, trust me, I can play operator.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Will you?
didn't show.
Will you play operator?
I'm hiding it.
Oh, okay.
Relax.
We love that. We love that. And speaking of other things we did see, your IGL, Teho, beautiful, so good. So far, the win rate with Teho here, not great, but I think he kind of boosted that win rate a little bit. Was there ever a conversation about who plays Teho, or was it just Gaius and Mr. Farland, like, he's doing it?
Konuş.
Uh, of course, I can't say much, but we have another Teho players.
It's Krax, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
I'm glad I guessed that. Last question before I let you go, Zeus. Great debut from you, great win. You look so comfortable. But your next opponent is Team Vitality.
Yep.
They got Safe, they got Durka, they got Les. You know these players.
Yep, I'm waiting for them.
Yeah, you're waiting for them.
Yep.
How are you feeling about playing against players with so much experience and firepower?
I don't feel that special things. I just want to go play with them. I'm going to go with them and play with them.
Yeah, they're just normal.
It's a normal match for me.
You gonna diff them?
You can see.
Oh, okay. You're humble. You're humble. I like that. Thank you very much, Yusajay and Zeus,
Thank
for
you.
joining me.
Thanks so much.
Congratulations on your
Thank
first
you.
win. When we come back from this break, we're going to be bringing you Gentlemates versus Team Heretics. Do not go anywhere.
Red Bull gives you wings.